But
sorry for interrupting, but what made you move to Web3? Like you were doing Web2 bug bounties and then you heard about it somewhere, someone told you about it. Like what triggered your interest?
I mean, Immunify, because I was into Web2 bug bounty, they had those things called smart contracts. Didn't really know what they were at the time.
Yeah, so, and then you found out Securium and you started there, right?
And then, yes. Mainly, I found, I think I found Cmichel's blog post, how to become an auditor and such. He was already number one. I think, or maybe it was later, but yeah, I did see Securium, which already started at the time. So I tagged along Epoch Zero. I wasn't one of the participants, so I was mainly tagging along. And there was a repo from OX Taylor, but you know, there were all videos, all articles, all homeworks. So you just had to consume what was there. And that's one of the awesome things in this space. There are so many resources that you can just consume. Nowadays, you'd get overwhelmed. But before then, you just had to consume that first ever structured effort to teach the community. So Securium at the time, yeah, the only structured way to learn. Nowadays, I think it may be very hard for newcomers to not get lost. But yeah, I tagged along Epoch Zero. And at the time, because I still started in 2021, on the last week, in fact, for a contest, I figured, hey, let's try Code Arena. Because they were paying for
What was your first contest? Do you remember?
Oh, no, I don't. Yeti Finance, Amun, something like that. Maybe there were two or three. But I did manage to earn 1K through gas optimizations and laws.
Wow, your first contest, 1K, just gas optimization.
So it's still 2 or 3 contests, but nowadays you wouldn't see that in 1 week when just starting and using knowledge from Securium. But it was very motivating, because you go from not knowing anything to earning 1K in a week. Yeah, pretty exciting.
It's very exciting, especially that the bounties in Web2 are much lower, I assume. I don't think that you made 1K that easily in Web2 when you just started.
No, I think my highest bounty was like 500. Still something, but no, they are lower. So yes, it's like there's so much money. I think at the time I was also shy with blockchain and addresses and MetaMask and how to use all that. So I kind of was not familiar with even how to move money around, how to cash out, how to, it kind of feel like I started in reverse, just with the theory and then practicing. But it was enough. It was exciting. I was also like, I always had my eyes on the leaderboard. At the time, when there were the announcement for the rewards, it was always the same names, there were like 10 or 15 people. And so I knew everyone. It felt like I knew everyone, or I could ask tips. And I was following them on Twitter, kind of, even on LinkedIn, seeing who they were, what was their profile, and such, stalking, kind of.
Yeah. And you reach out to them? You started talking to them either with Discord, LinkedIn, Twitter?
I did. As an example, Liam Eastwood, one of the first person I reached out to. He, in the beginning, he was actually, I'm not sure he found it funny. I guess he did, but he did say that it felt like I knew all of his life and profile because I stalked him so much that I knew like where he was. Even Cmichel, I was doing research on where he was living, like a borderline from France, asking him hey, are you from
Web3 security stalking?
Yeah, totally. The personalities at the time, and and nowadays that would be, if someone stalked me like that, I'd be a little bit scared. I mean, stalk someone else, like Cmichel. But but yeah, at the time I when you want to get somewhere. I tend to do that, and it was also a subject. It was also the subject of my latest talk. I kind of look at what others are doing, those that are succeeding in the space, and sometimes I go a little too much into the fanboy mindset. But yeah, then I either try to copy or get inspired, and then take some notes, and I grow like that. Sometimes they're very nice and welcoming, and they do give you a hand. They give pointers and such. That was the case exactly for Eastwood. Also Hiccup. Hiccup HH3. But yeah, you'd be surprised how those big names that are making so much are just friendly and happy to help in our ecosystem. Or even
Definitely. Very nice guys.
you just reached out to say, hey, let's meet to 15 minutes just to get acquainted, and see, it
Yeah.
was very nice to get something like that.
It's very friendly community, and I also had a conversation with Christoph, with Cmichel. He's a very nice guy, very pleasant, and very talented as well. We all know, and I think that now you have some fanboys, bro. I think that you get to a point from being a fanboy. Now you have some fanboys. You are like a legend in the space.
Yeah, I do have some fanboys. So some don't even try to reach out because they feel like I won't answer. I do sometimes get too many DMs. That's normal, but sometimes I do answer, and I do help some people. Cannot help everyone because I still have to work. Besides the full-time job, I also have so many things on the side, and family time, and I try to exercise again because I've fattened up quite a bit since starting Web3. But yeah.
Yeah, so you remember where you came from, so you also answer to DMs, and you know, like even though you're popular.
Yeah. Yeah, I do try to.
That's nice.